Well, started off the way we would like to, obviously. Had some big plays out of our defense, big plays out of our special teams. Went into halftime being tied up, and then played in the fourth quarter, then the third quarter and fourth quarter the way we want to, and certainly did not play offensively the way that we would like. Got to give Coach Satterfield and Coach Woody, their defensive coordinator, they did a fantastic job, obviously, in their preparation, and did a fantastic job being able to really shut our offense down. And, again, not what we want to sit there and be, and not excited about where we're at, being 4-4, frustrated, disappointed, all those things heading into this week with Ole Miss.
And, Coach, you mentioned Ole Miss is the first time Georgia Southern is taking on Ole Miss. Your thoughts on the Rebels as you head into Saturday's game?
Well, obviously, very good football team, and, again, had as tough of a schedule as anybody could possibly have to this point in time, and, they have weapons all over the place, particularly offensively, everything really, starting with their fast tempo, no huddle attack that Coach Freeze has had there for the last couple of years, but the quarterback is a dynamic player, can put the ball where he wants to. He has great receivers, not good receivers, great receivers, and a number of different options. I think that, running backs have been hampered with some injuries to some degree, but I think that their backs do a nice job of being able to hit the hole and really do what they're asked to do and are able to create some explosive plays. Offensive line, again, I think that they're really good at tackle, which gives the quarterback a chance to be successful, particularly in their pass sets and some of the things they do, going against some of the top-tier SEC defensive ends in the country. And then obviously the tight end. The tight end is as good a player as we'll face all year, all the way around, and certainly can create some matchup problems for not only us but the other defenses they played as well. Defensively, I think that they're too deep at D-tackle. Will be if not the best, one of the best groups that we've seen all year. They're very athletic on their edges at the end, and guys that can run around, make plays, certainly have the ability to rush the passer as well. Solid at linebacker, do the right thing. You don't look up and see a lot of misfits, missed tackles. Fantastic communicators for what they're trying to do, and they've got a young secondary. Secondary's young and talented, and obviously, the field corner number one jumps out, the senior laden guy that they have. So again, as we look into it, again, going to be on the road again, and headed there to Ole Miss, and it'll be a great environment. Looking forward to the opportunity.
Coach, I'm going to say his name wrong, and I apologize, but Ukeme Eligwe, I believe is how you say it. On Saturday,
yes, sir,
on Thursday. Okay, cool. On Thursday night, had a big game with 12 tackles and the big blocked field goal return. He was named the Defensive Player of the Week this week. Really, what did you see from him on Thursday night against Appalachian State?
Well, again, I think that what you're starting to see from us, hopefully defensively, and he's obviously the one that played as well as anybody the other night, and certainly played extremely well from a statistical standpoint. What you see, I hope, is us finally getting to the point in the season where we kind of first-year defense, and implementing the defense that myself and Coach Costatini, our defensive coordinator, have been trying to harp on, since we got here in December, and trying to move forward with it. And I think that, again, our defense, I thought, played well the other night. I thought they played well enough to win, and didn't get many favors and didn't get very many good opportunities. But I think that you're starting to see us defensively progress and hopefully turn into the defense that we can all be proud of.
Okay, Coach, we'll go to our first questions from Justin Baxley with the Macon Telegraph.
Okay. How you doing this morning, Coach?
I'm doing fine. How are you, Justin?
I'm doing well. If you could, talk a little bit about the upcoming matchup with Ole Miss. You got to travel there. Obviously, you got to go home this past weekend. What's it like having to go back out on the road and go into such a tough location?
Well, obviously the environment will be from a number standpoint, will be obviously the biggest one we played in all year, and that Ole Miss, one of the great college environments really in the country, and and they'll do a great job at the Grove. I mean, for us, obviously we've got to make sure that we're doing a nice job of making sure that our communication is where it needs to be from a noise standpoint. But, the truth of the matter is, even here, our place here at Paulson, our fans do a fantastic job, and it gets loud as anywhere can be. And so we're able to sit there and kind of function through some of those things as we go through each week. And obviously haven't already been on the road to Georgia Tech, but I certainly expect for Ole Miss to be the most difficult one that we've had this season as far as a road game goes and the atmosphere that comes around it. But, you mentioned it earlier, this will be, if I can remember correctly, this will be our fifth away game in 7 weeks, including one the bye week. So, we've gotten used to being on the road. We came back after a short week this past week and played on a Thursday night and back on the road again. So, again, we've kind of gotten used to being the road warriors this season.
And, Coach, you obviously are facing a team that has a lot of NFL prospects, but specifically one in Chad Kelly. What's your defense got to do to prepare for somebody like Chad?
Well, I think the first thing we got to do is we got to get prepared for the tempo, and knowing that he's a guy that can both. Obviously, he can beat you with his arm. I think he can put the ball wherever he wants to. If he knows and is able to see the coverage pre-snaps, we've got to do a good job with disguising looks, which is difficult to do when you're sitting there playing a tempo team, but we've got to do a good job with it. And then, obviously the next piece that you see is him as a runner. And obviously big guy does a nice job when he gets his opportunity to run some of the zone reads and some of the option pieces that they did a little bit more early on in the year. But just his scrambling ability and his ability to continue to let plays grow and let his receivers make plays down the field and keeping his eyes down the field are all things that he does a really nice job with.
And then on offense, you're facing a defense that, I guess, the Lanchard defense. What are some keys to get the offense going against those guys? They're obviously quick and they get out to the edges.
Well, I mean, the big thing is we've got to be able to run the ball. If we continue to sit here in a world where we can't function and being able to run the ball the way that we need to, then we're going to have a hard time. And we've got to be able to sit there right from the get-go and be able to find ways to create some space and be able to create some angles in there to give us opportunities to be able to run it. Like I mentioned earlier, I do think that really the entire front seven, but the front four has a tremendous amount of depth, in my opinion, very talented group, and play hard. And when you go into those type of games, again, we've got a young, inexperienced offensive line, and we've got to go in there and play our best game. We've got to go in there and make sure that we're taking the fight to them and that we're playing as hard as we can possibly play and trying to get ourselves in some looks that will give us the best opportunity to be successful.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck Saturday.
Okay. Thank you so much, Justin.
Thank you, Justin, and thank you, Coach Summers. Those are all the questions we have for you this morning. We appreciate your time as always.
Okay. Thank you all.